rooms, swallows has built their nests for many a long year. And from earliest spring to latest autumn, whole colonies of sparrows chirped and twittered in the eaves. There were more pigeons about the dreary stable yard and about buildings than anybody the landlord could reckon upon. The wheeling and the circling flights of runts, fantails, tumblers, and pouters were perhaps not quite consistent with the grave and sober character of the building, but the monotonous cooing, which never ceased to be raised by some among when all day long suited in exactly and seemed to lull it in the rest. With its overhanging stories, drowsy little panes of glass, and front bulging out and projecting over the pathway, the old house looked as if it were nodding in its sleep. Indeed, it needed to be a very great stretch of fancy to detect it in other resemblances in humanity. The bricks of which it was built had originally been a deep, dark red, but it had grown yellow and discolored like an old man's skin. The sturdy timbers had decayed like teeth, and here and there were ivy, like a warm garment to comfort. It is in its age wrapped its green leaves closed around the time-worn walls. It has a hale and hearty age though. Still, in its summer or autumn evening, when the glow of the setting sun fell upon the oak and chestnut trees of the adjacent forest, the old house, partaking of its luster, seemed to fit companionly, and to have many good years of life in him yet. The evening with which he would have to do was neither a summer nor a autumn one, but the twilight of a day in March, when the wind howled dismally among the bare branches of the trees and rumbling in the wide chimneys, and driving the rain against the windows and the maple inn, gave such of its frequenters a chance to be there in the moment an undeniable reason for prolonging their stay, and caused the landlord to prophesy over that night would certainly clear at 11 o'clock precisely, which by a remarkable coincidence was the hour at which he also closed his house. The name of him upon whom the spirit of prophecy thus descended was John Willett, a very large-headed man and a fat face, with betokened profound obstinacy and slowness of apprehension, combined with him strong resilience upon his own merits. It was John Willett's ordinary boast, in his more placid moods, that if he were to slow, he was sure, which assertion could, in one sense at least, be by no means gainsaid, seeing that he was in everything unquestionably the reverse of fast, and withal one of the most dogged, positive fellows in existence, always sure that what he thought or said or did was right, and holding it as a thing quite settled and ordained by the laws of nature and providence, that anybody who said or did or thought otherwise must be inevitably and necessity wrong. Mr. Willett walked slowly up to the window, flattened his fat nose against the cold glass, and shading his eyes that his sight might not be affected by the ruddy glow of the fire, looked abroad. When he walked slowly back to his old seat at the chimney corner and composed himself in it, there was a silver slight such a man might give away to and so acquire an additional relish for warm blaze, said, looking around upon his guests, "It's clear at 11 o'clock, no sooner and no later, not before and not afterward."